At a bunch of banks going under. And it is because that is a very fragile model of business and also fraudulent. And we have been hearing on TV, we heard the president saying that this is the best economy that we have had. Biden, I should have not called him the president, and I even listened to people that have tremendous following, like Bongino, Bannon, and a lot of others podcasters that are trying to present the problem that we have with the failures of all those banks. But they are not talking about a solution. What is the solution? The solution is to eliminate the root of the problem. That started in 1913 with the creation of the Federal Reserve. There has been only one one congressman that warned the country and warned Congress about the Federal Reserve. Well, along the history of the Federal Reserve, there have been several politicians, but counted in the fingers of your hand, our presidents that have mentioned that the Federal Reserve is a humongous cancer. It's a tremendous danger to the American people. But we are now in 2023, and we are hearing the same story that it could have been prevented, that if they just didn't spend so much money, that if the politicians were a little more responsible. But how can they be responsible when there is a cancer that nobody wants to deal with? Ron Paul tried several times. He tried to end the Fed a few times, and unfortunately, he never got too far. Why? Because of the humongous interest behind it. And so it's almost an impossible task to get rid of the Federal Reserve. But don't blame anybody else, because that's the root of the problem. And there are three solutions to not having to suffer with the economic regime in which we are involved. The first one, I already said it, is to eliminate the Federal Reserve. The second is to force the banks to work on 100% reserve, like insurance companies do. Like a regular business. If you don't have $50,000 in your checkbook, you cannot write a $60,000 check. That's simple. So that's the problem. The problem is an institution that has the right, the privilege to create money out of thin air, and a banking system that can multiply that money because they use fractional reserve banking. That's why I'm saying, why are they doing that? It's too fragile. I mean, it might be very good to make a lot of money, but it's fragile. That's why when 100 people go at the same time to the bank to ask for all of their money, the bank could go down because they don't have reserves. So what's the solution? That they work with 100% reserve, like a normal business or the insurance industry. You heard Janet Yellen saying that she supported the Inflation Reduction Act, that was nothing else than more money to be spent when we don't have that money. And she is, at this moment, she is in charge of the treasury in this country. What a nice person to be in the helm of the treasury, when she doesn't understand that supporting big spending is not going to control inflation. And you heard Bernanke prior to 2008. There's no problem in the economy. What is happening, those are local things that turn out to be a world influence, a world problem. Why? Because of an institution that can create money out of thin air. So when you have that power, what can you care about the little person, the little guy? So that's where we have the problem. We need to eliminate the Federal Reserve. We need to force the banks to 100% reserve. And I know that will take many, many years, too many people involved. So there is one simple solution for a small business or a family. Create your privatized bank. There is a concept called the infinite banking. Nelson Nash, that unfortunately left us about 2.5 years ago, great generous guy that came up with a tremendous process, the process of using a dividend-paying whole life insurance contract to grow capital and use that capital, because it is your money, to finance your life's events. So I can teach you about it, and I can help you set up that private banking policy. It is insurance because it uses a dividend-paying whole life insurance contract. But as Nelson said, it's more a financial platform than insurance. He said it is a financial platform with a death benefit as a bonus. I know insurance companies don't want us to talk about an insurance policy as something else. But if you analyze a dividend-paying whole life insurance contract, it has a lot to do with a bank. You can deposit money, you can withdraw money, you can take loans, you can earn interest, you can pay interest. You can do that in a bank, don't you? The difference is, in this one, you are in control. So, you want to learn about the infinite banking? Contact me at jorgeeherrera.com, and I'll teach you all about it, and I'll help you set up your privatized banking so you will protect yourself from all this craziness out there. Talk to you next time.